Good morning. I'm here on the back deck of the garden and it's pretty early for me. It's 8 a.m. in Charlotte, North Carolina. It seems like it's going to be a beautiful day, maybe a little bit on the warm side since it's already comfortable at 8 a.m. And I kind of wanted to show you around, show you some of my wins and some of my fails because I've had a lot of garden fails lately. And I feel like that's not something that's super commonly shared. And the truth is that if you want to be a prolific gardener and a great gardener, you're probably going to kill a lot of plants on your journey to becoming that. So I kind of want to share what's going on in the garden and get some stuff done today. My tendonitis is flared up really bad in my right hand, which is my dominant hand. So I'm going to try to be very careful not to use this today, which means my garden work will probably be slow and I won't be able to get done as much stuff as I would hope or like, but I think I can still do a few things. This poor container really needs to be watered. My Lenten rose is just, oh, she's a sad beauty. Yeah, I need to water her in. I can't carry my watering can right now because of my tendonitis in my dominant hand. I can't even like hold it with my non-dominant and pour it with the other because it really requires both hands. So I'm gonna have to drag the hose all the way over here with my left hand and use the hose to water everything in, which is fine. It's just something I haven't done and obviously need to. And then I'm on my third round of seed starting. My second round did not go well. I only salvaged like 2 plants from it. Here's the third round and you can see these little beauties are looking, they're looking pretty good, I think. So the sugar snap peas look incredible. The calendula looks great. And I've also got some dianthus that have come up. They're pretty small though. So that is what this one looks like. I've got it all labeled there on the side with washi tape. She's looking pretty good. I'm not sure. I just took the top off. I'm not sure if I should leave it off for today. I think once they germinate, and it looks like pretty much everything has in this one except for the bell peppers, I think you're not supposed to leave the greenhouse hat on. But what happens when they don't all germinate at the same rate? Like those have not germinated yet. I'm not sure. I'm also thinking like it felt really good out here 30 minutes ago when I woke up, but now it might be a little hot and I don't want these little plants to get scorched. So maybe I'll move them in the shade for today and leave the greenhouse top off. And the reason I am so afraid of them getting scorched is because of this seedling tray right here. It still had its greenhouse top on and it was in the sun yesterday. And I don't know if you can see, look at all these. It's like they died. They're all brown and sad and shriveled. I don't know if it was just too hot or too sunny or what. So I've moved them over here into the shade for today, hoping that the ones that are still alive will rebound. I don't know if any of these are going to revive. I highly doubt it. The shriveled up ones, they look like goners. I don't know. I really wish the gardening thing was a little bit easier and more intuitive. But sometimes you think, hey, let's start hardening off these plants and put them in the sun. And it's only 75 or 80 degrees. But the power of that sun just kills them. I mean, the soil is moist. The soil is wet, actually. So it's not like they dried out. I don't know. If anybody knows and wants to give me tips, that would be excellent. Because I think I have killed off a lot of my third start seedlings in this tray by doing that. Pretty much everything was up to here when I put them in the sun. And now everything has like shriveled and died except for a few of the zinnia, which are doing good. We've got my third tray over here. And this, I am just not sure about, to be honest. The green beans, these are Kitchen King green beans, and they look absolutely incredible. So big. However, besides a couple of hollyhock, and there's only a few of them, nothing else has germinated in this entire tray. I don't think my Kentucky Wonder... Oh no, you know what? Do you see that shiny substance right here? On top? Oh, yep. That means a slug came through there. I wonder... I bet they ate all of my Kentucky Wonder green beans. I bet that's what happened. You could see their slug trail right across the middle of those pods there. Well, that's a bummer. So those might be goners because of the slugs. Somehow they got in the greenhouse tray. I'm gonna have to like find a more foolproof system for this. I don't know, some way to like lock the lids on tight so that way slugs can't get in there. Anyway, I've got some hellebore Lenten rose, the ornamental hellebores. These seeds were ones that I actually took from my Lenten rose over here. Sorry about that harsh sunlight. From what I've read online, trying to grow the hellebores from your own seed catching is not exactly an easy science, more of an art form. And from what I've read, they don't always germinate and you have to plant them pretty much immediately after you harvest them. And mine were sitting for a couple of weeks. So we'll see. I tried to plant them as soon as I could. Maybe they will come up. I'm not sure. But I think I need to start more seeds because seed starting has not been as successful as I would have liked. Not as successful as the first round. I also made a major mistake on my tomatoes. I read about pinching back on tomatoes and assumed that when everybody talked about pinching back their tomatoes, it was the same as pinching back flowers. Turns out it's not. When you pinch back tomatoes, you take off all of these side shoots. When you pinch back a flower, right here, you have your seed pod leaves right there, and then you get up to your first set of true leaves. And when you pinch back a flower, you come up here and you pinch back the main stalk right here above the first set of true leaves. So I did that with all of my tomatoes except for this little one right here. And so you can see what's happening. It stunted all their growth. So I majorly messed up on that. And from what I've read, basically if you have any true leaves when you do that, one of these side shoots of true leaves will become the major stem next, but it's not going to perform the same way it would have if you hadn't pinched it back, because essentially you stopped all stalk growth from ever recurring again, and it can only send up energy into these leaves and these side shoots. So these might get longer, but it's never going to be the thick, healthy stem that you want it to be for supporting tomatoes. And it's just not ideal. And I did that with every single one of these tomatoes, except for one in this pot. This is the only one I didn't do it to. And I did this a few weeks ago, and when I realized they weren't growing, I did some Googling and found out my major error. And so I'm super disappointed, but the reality is that I need to throw away all my tomatoes that looked amazing a few weeks ago before I pinched them back, and I need to start over because I did it wrong, which is really sad because it is already the end of May in Charlotte, North Carolina, which means if I had done everything correctly, I would probably start seeing my first fruits soon. So to have to start all over from seed right now, that's, it feels discouraging and a little defeated. But it is what it is, and what can you do? These are the mistakes that I've made. And hopefully sharing them will help somebody else not to make the same ones. So I need to go through here, pull out all the tomatoes, put away all these little cans, and start tomato seeds over, as well as some other seeds, because while this tray looks amazing, my other 2 trays over here look incredibly sad, except for the one variety of green beans that are doing incredible. So maybe I will plant those out in the garden today. Maybe that would be a good activity for me to do to not feel so defeated in this day. So that's what I have going on, and I've got some flowers that are looking absolutely wonderful. I think these are so beautiful. The orange, oh, absolutely stunning. And then of course with some pink. So I'm gonna get to work. Another thing I recently realized is that this bleeding heart needs to be in partial sun or shade. And as you can see, she is in full sun. And I think that is why I have no flowers on her anymore. All of her little tendrils that should be covered in blooms have not had them for a couple months now. So I need to move her into the shade. I don't think that's something I can do with my one non-dominant hand here. So maybe my fiance will help me with that later, because this is actually a huge pot and weighs quite a bit. Oh no, I guess I could probably twirl that around. It wouldn't be easy, but I think I could get that with one hand. I also need to take my poor little lettuce here and move them into full shade. They're starting to bolt because of this North Carolina sun and heat. I'll tell you what, it's starting to feel like summer already. On the plus side, in the shade over here, this tiny little bit of shade right now, the catmint is doing all right. She looks like, I need to pull up the dead growth from last year, because this is a perennial. So a lot of dead growth from last year is still on it, and then the new growth came up. The new shoots came up. So I probably need to clean this out. And I just keep this right by our door for our kitty cat. So we've got the sun over here, and once it goes past the house, this whole part will be shaded until like the last 3 feet of the deck will be full sun. But all of this will be shade, so hopefully that'll be okay for all of my plants. Hi Claire, did you find that stick? Yeah? Are you a good girl? Are you a good girl? Here you go. Here's a stick. Here's a stick. Yeah, this is my good dog. Okay, I think somebody wants me to go play in the yard with her, so I'm gonna go play fetch.